in her imagination. Yeah. So, when I was thinking about this short message, I wanted to make it nice and light. Yeah, I thought it's Christmas and let's celebrate. And I hope I can bring us to this point, so just giving you a heads up. But yeah, to me personally, my experience with Jesus, also as a non-believer girl who just listened these Divine Principle lectures about Jesus' life. Of course, I knew who Jesus was. We had these Orthodox cathedrals in my beautiful city, and we had those images of him. But it was, some kind of, I don't know, something in some concept, right? So for the first person, I remember I had this experience that he was a real person. And he was a very loving person. But also what became obvious to me during those lectures I heard on Divine Principle, that he was extremely lonely. Since he was a little boy, he was misunderstood and unappreciated. And no matter how hard he tried to connect to people, it was very, very hard. Yeah, and that's why I love this song. And we didn't kind of agree on that, but I'm really grateful that Winnie chose this song. I love this song because, again, when people sing it, they kind of have a certain thing in mind, but I think it is very true. Yeah, because the saddest part is that Mary did not know. Yeah, and I wanted to put True Mother's words, and I wanted to ask Vera to read it for us. Can you see Vera?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these words also, I heard them personally, of course, not in English, not in this form, but True Mother talked about it last year, January 6th, when she came to America. I think it was one of her last visits to America.
Can I stand here? Mary conceived by the Holy Spirit, yet she did not fulfill her responsibility. How could she fail to record the day of the birth of the Son she conceived and bore of the Holy Spirit? 3 wise men came to see Jesus. But even seeing this, why didn't she think, oh, this child is not an ordinary child, so I must devote myself completely to raising him? Jesus waited for 30 years before embarking on his public course, which lasted 3 years. And during that time of more than 30 years, did Mary ever wish him happy birthday? The day on which we currently celebrate Christmas is not actually the date of Jesus' birth. Christianity began through the apostles. After the crucifixion of Jesus, the Roman Empire harshly persecuted Christian believers who prayed and offered devotion in underground caves as they waited for Jesus' promised return. However, it is heartbreaking that Christians say that we are saved by the blood of the cross. It is incomprehensible, even from common sense perspective, that we are saved by the crucifixion of Jesus, who died at the young age of 33, after it took 4,000 years to prepare for his coming.
Thank you. Thank you, Vera. Yeah, so, yesterday when I was praying and thinking about sharing with you, these words came to mind. And of course, again, thinking about what it became, right? The history of Christmas. We recently watched this video with my husband. He found somewhere how it was explained. And again, I'm not from this country, right? So a lot of you will know much more about tradition and history of Christmas. But it definitely became commercialized, right? That's why a lot of Christian people are very upset. Even recently we had a co-op party, our homeschool co-op. We do sometimes, right? Also celebrate parties. And the lady and it's a Christian co-op. So the lady who planned the party, she made it Polar Express themed, right? And it was very fun. Kids have a lot of fun. She did beautiful decorations, but a couple families did not participate because Polar Express is about Santa, not Jesus, right? So, but it's understandable, right? It's true. It became commercialized, and there's a lot of things. Yes, we don't know who is Santa, why we're talking about Santa on Christmas. Yeah. So, but thinking about it yesterday, it also came to me that I don't think Jesus despises Christmas. Yeah, even though it's true, we know, and true parents always taught us about this, that it's not even exact Jesus' birth. And his birth was not glorious, right? There was a lot of loneliness and pain in there. But I think, again, my interpretation, when I pray about it and try to talk to Jesus, he's actually very happy that a lot of kids during this time of year can have this miracle, right? And it's all about them. And it's a beautiful story that Liz shared, right? How Linda was like waiting for this miracle. I remember also Stella, at some point, she had this experience when she heard the bells on the roof. She was telling us that she heard the bells on the roof, right? So that's why I think, again, even though we know deeper that understanding of all the circumstances about Jesus' birth, but what he really wants us to experience. And as any parent or even older brother would always do, right? I want you to have what I didn't have, right? So that's why I don't think Jesus is very much upset about Santa, right? And of course, but it's also would be so nice of us to invite him to our celebrations. And I'm sure he would be very moved by that. You know? So that's why, again, like I said, my message is not going to be very long. Maybe next one slide. These are the words that I felt like, the Sermon on the Mount. These are one of the most coherent, long messages that Jesus gave, right? All the other words I've spread here and there, right? So this is the Sermon on the Mount. And basically, we were talking also with my husband about it. A lot of times people are confused about this, right? Blessed are the poor in spirit. What does it mean? And I'm sure there is a lot of interpretations. Yeah, but what we were, and if you look at this whole passage, right? He was talking about being able to give, right? And being able to have this longing, right, for something. Longing, again, for the greater thing, right? For connection to Heavenly Parent, right? And can you go next one? So this is another painting of Akian that I told you about, and yeah, it's called I Am. So, and we could hopefully, knowing what we know, right, being connected to Jesus also through true parents, through our true father, who, especially in his early years, was totally obsessed by Jesus, right? I remember when I started reading first speeches of true father when he was given in the 50s, until the 60s. It was only about Jesus all the time, right? Jesus' heart, Jesus' thoughts, Jesus' sorrow, and there was a lot about Jesus' sorrow, right? And true mother also talking a lot about him, and he has this connection. But I was thinking, what kind of gift can we give to Jesus, right? If we try to think this ultimate gift. And also this idea came to me because apparently in Russia, before the communist revolution, it was quite a Christian nation. And people also celebrated Christmas a lot. But this little gift, the kids will receive one little gift. And it was said that it's a gift to baby Jesus, but they can take it after Jesus receives it. So I was thinking again, what kind of gift we can give to Jesus today, right, in spirit world. And yeah, this one, right? Let's share each other with Jesus. Let's invite him to our family here, to any kind of gatherings we're going to have. Yeah, and remember that, yes, he is the great I am, right? Again, a lot of people today, not today, sorry, on the Christmas Eve especially, they're gonna go to service or mass, and they're gonna pray to Jesus, they're gonna talk about him. But a lot of times, again, they're gonna be imagining him somewhere on the throne, right? In the sky. Again, this Alpha and Omega. But Jesus just wants to be our brother, right? He wants to be among us. He wants to share our joy, right? And he wants to finally be able to have his family. Yeah? So that is the greatest gift that we could give to him. So, and we can, maybe let's join me in prayer to finish. Our dear beloved Heavenly Parent, thank you so much for this time that these beautiful people came here to be with you and to share with each other. And like any family, we have all kinds of ups and downs, and sometimes we feel very close to each other.